Hey, 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 hey! Consciousness Creators Summit. Are we live? If you're in the Consciousness Creators Summit, give me some hearts, give me some thumbs up. Let me know you're live. You guys can hear me and you guys can see me. Good morning, Consciousness Creators. Carolyn's here, Jenny's here. Awesome sauce. Allie's here. Hi, Allie. Pamela's here. All right, guys. Awesome. Had to switch rooms at the last second there, so I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late. It's all good, though. We go with the flow around here. Good morning, Jennifer. Colette, Tapping Girl's in the building. That means all of her Tapping Tuesday friends should be joining us shortly as well, and we welcome all of you. All right, if you would, you guys know the drill. If you would share out, I would definitely appreciate it. Share to your own page, share to any groups who appreciate that type of a thing. Hey, Scott Leosi, glad to see you. We are sharing out real quick. If you would do so, I am going to do the same. Thank you for sharing. All right. As always, we're going to take a couple minutes to share out, and then when you're done sharing, feel free to type in the chat box where you're joining us from today. Thanks, Lorraine, for sharing that to your page. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Consciousness Creators Summit, guys. We are going to share out. Allie has shared. Pamela has shared. Appreciate that. All right, one more from me, and we're going to get started. Don't want to keep you too long today. Ali O'Shea's in Ireland, imagine that. John Burrow's in the house. How are we, my friend? Thanks for sharing. Cindy shared. Thank you, Cindy. Danielle's from Boise. Great to see you. How's the weather where you guys are at? Let me know that. It's cold here, but it looks like it's going to get warmer. Might break the freezing mark today, which would be good. Good morning, or good afternoon, Joel. Whatever time it is there. All right. If you guys will just finish sharing out, and yes, Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Just type in where you're joining us from. Appreciate that. New Hampshire. Cheryl Easterbrook is in the building. Ali O'Shea is freezing as well in Ireland. All good. We'll warm it up a little bit. A little hand claps, a little dance. Hey. All right. Excellent. So as you're just finished sharing out, type in your chat box where you're joining us from. And I appreciate all you guys joining in. Cindy is from Kansas City once again. Tanya's there from England. It's snowing. Okay. Snowing hard there. Okay. Well, it is not snowing here currently. Just looking out the window to make sure I was telling the truth there, but. All right. Welcome you guys to the Consciousness Creators Summit. We are on the downward slope of the month. I hope you guys are doing well with your resolutions or intentions or goals or whatever you set up at the beginning of this 2019. I hope you're doing really well with those already. You should be seeing some positive benefits. Give me some hearts and some thumbs up if you guys are seeing positive benefits from all the techniques and tips that we've been sharing so far. We are obviously completely through 2 weeks and working on week 3, 2019 already, if you can believe it. Yes. Just reading some of your comments there. Cool but beautiful in New Hampshire. Awesome. It is sunny here, I will say that. It is about, 19 degrees currently, but I heard it might get up to 40, so we're on the rise. All right. Once again, welcome to all the Tapping Tuesday friends. I see Tapping Girls in the building, Scaliosi's in the building. I'm sure some of the rest of you just came from Tapping Tuesday and appreciate you joining in. This is the Consciousness Creator Summit. As most of you know, my name is Tony Doyle. I am a transformational mindset coach. I work with a company called Mind Valley and several other things. I do TEDx talks, have some manuscripts with Hay House Publishing. But our focus here in the Consciousness Creators group has been and continues to be to raise your individual vibrations, or to give you the tools to raise your vibration, so that you may raise the vibration of the entire planet and change your own life for the better. Okay? So we are going to go through today. I've got a couple things I wanted to clean up. Hello, hello. I see you guys saying hi. I appreciate you joining in. How are you doing, Ralph? So I wanted to go back and answer a couple questions, kind of fill in some gaps in between what we're doing. We've been trying to, between the 7 of us, been trying to give you all kind of tools that you can use, and try to give you a little bit of a different mindset so that maybe you're not in that stuck mentality of lack that possibly you have been stuck in for a lot of your life. So we certainly appreciate you joining in with us again. Just reading here, raising the vibe of the planet, one soul at a time, right, Ali O'Shea? All right, so today, like I said, I wanted to go back and clean up a few things. One question I got several times, and even in my one-on-one private coaching, I had someone who wanted to talk about this, and it's a little bit more on identifying and replacing limiting beliefs. Okay, so obviously we talked about this actually day 1, and then we've been giving you tools for the last couple of weeks kind of to do that. So I thought we would tie this together with a couple of other things, and kind of just see where you're at maybe in the process. So at a certain point, I'm going to ask you guys to share kind of how your journey's going with limiting beliefs, what tips and tricks are helping you along the way, and just share that out with your friends here in the group. Remember, this is a co-creator space. You are co-creators for us, and we certainly appreciate your input as far as what's happening and what's going on in your life. So, first and foremost, as far as limiting beliefs, the most important thing, the absolute most important thing, and truthfully the most important thing as you live your life in general, is to be 100% honest with yourself. Okay, why do I say that? Here's the thing with manifestation, law of attraction, identifying limiting beliefs, tapping, every tool that we're giving you, meditation, come to the here and now, all of this depends on you at least being honest with yourself about where you're at and where you want to go. Okay? Here's the problem. And I was having this discussion with Ellie last night about one of her clients. But here's the thing. If you're not completely 100% honest with yourself, you will continue to manifest and create in your life. You just will not be in alignment with that creation. Okay? Give me some hearts if you understand what I mean. Okay? So if you're telling yourself things are one certain way, or you're placing blame on things, and you're manifesting from that perspective, a perspective of lack or perspective of negative beliefs, you will manifest that back into your life over and over and over. That's the cycle. Thank you for the hearts, guys. So the key is to be honest with your own self, okay? So, and go ahead and type your stuff in there. I'll go back and catch some of those comments. And we have other conscious creators, people who can also, if you could help me answer some of the questions as they come up. Appreciate that. So, so first and foremost, be honest with yourself, okay? Limiting beliefs will continue to manifest in your life if you do not address them. Okay? So this is the awesome thing that we've been talking about, and a lot of people get the law of attraction and positivity all mixed up and confused. And I think the seven of us here have been trying our best to try to kind of let you know the difference. A lot of people say completely don't address a negative thing. And obviously psychology has shown us that's wrong. We do need to address it, and then we need to let it go, right? Colette talks a lot about that. That's a lot of what we do with the tapping. Ho'oponopono is about letting things like that go, forgiving ourselves, forgiving everything in our life, and getting it out of there. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about those things as we go on. So the very first important thing, obviously, if you do have something that's still holding you back, you're in week 2, you've been trying all these things, you've probably, whether you know it or not, have been identifying negative beliefs already. Okay? So that's important. You have to be able to identify it. You can't just sit there and keep manifest it and say, my life sucks, you know, the world is this way, whatever. Realize that's your perspective. Okay? You have to own it, and then you have to identify why you're attracting that into your experience on a daily basis, over and over and over. Okay? So the key is to identifying that, and once again being totally honest. All right? So when we and we talked about that. Remember when we talked about the 4 pillars and all those things, addressing individual things in our life, okay? So we're just kind of tying this back together. Once again, I'm kind of going back and answering questions that people still have. So hopefully this is helpful to you. If not, we're going to have plenty of time to cover some other stuff as well. But right now we're going to talk about identifying and eliminating limiting beliefs. Once again, we're into week 3 of 2019. So we need to make sure that we're doing good towards our goals and our intentions for the new year. All right. So identifying limiting beliefs. Once again, that takes self-awareness, and we've been talking about that. We've been giving you all kind of tools, all of our meditations, all of our breathing techniques, back to the breath, centering, the here and now, right? Been talking about that for a couple of weeks now. So, in our now space, remember we can back up out of the muck. Okay, I wrote a whole book on this. You back up out of the muck. Okay, it's called Above the Fray. Okay, we talked about 3D, 4D, 5D last week. So, from your 5D perspective, okay, for those of you who did the exercise with me, the mind's eye, the one that can look down on you, hear, and see things that you're not saying with your physical, right? So from that perspective, we have to be able to see ourselves and see kind of what we're drawing into our perspective and our own experience and why that's happening. Okay, so we have to be able to identify it. But here's the thing. Identifying it in our mind is not good enough. We have to write it down and name it. Okay? Just like everything. In order to destroy it, we have to actually identify it and make it a thing. Okay? Because we're going to get rid of that thing. As long as it's just a concept or an idea in the back of your mind, it's elusive. Okay? You can't really get to it because you're not describing it enough to even for your subconscious to know what it is. Okay? So we have to name it. So whatever that limiting belief is for you, it could be, I'm not enough, I don't deserve this. And once again, we're looking at the 4 pillars. We're identifying each area of our life. Sometimes, if I don't want to do the 4 pillars, I'll start with, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise, right? Affirmation from last week. And then I'm looking through there. What do I have resistance in that statement in each of those 3 categories? Okay? I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise. I'm healthy. Okay? Do that self-assessment. Do that self-check that we were talking about, right? Are you healthy? What's your limiting beliefs in health? Okay? Once again, remember, we're doing this from a 5D perspective. So it's a little hard to get a hold of in the beginning because in 3D perspective, you're going to wake up and you're going to be achy, something's going to hurt, you woke up with a headache, you know what I mean? All those things. In 5D perspective, realize that we drew this into our own experience, and we can take it out just as easy, okay? So that's the first part, okay? So if we're doing healthy, wealthy, and wise, wealthy, how's your prosperity? Do you have money issues? Okay? If you know for a fact you have a money issue and you know you're the creator of your experience, which we know, 5D perspective says we can look at and identify what that person out there who is named the same as you and walking around in a physical body that you identify with, what that person is doing wrong, okay? And I got some a long time ago. Most of you guys know my backstory. Some of you don't. I actually started working with Dr. Doyle about 6.5 years ago now. And one of his ways to look at the approach, he was one of my mentors at Hay House. In fact, my first mentor really on my spiritual journey, the awakening as they call it, for this section. But one of his things is, how would you coach someone else? Okay, so think about that. So for those of you who are not coaches, we coach people all the time, right? We're always counselors to our friends. But think about this. He made it even more pertinent for those of you who are parents. From a parent perspective, looking at someone you love wholeheartedly, you know what I mean? How would you counsel them from that third-party perspective of not being in the muck, but being able to see above it with more clarity? How would you counsel them? Okay? How would you identify their negative beliefs? You can see it a lot more. If you step back into 5D, you will be able to identify your beliefs. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to eliminate those. Okay? Yeah, pretty good first mentor, I would say that's true. Well, it's not exactly true. I actually credit my first mentor to being Yoda. So I don't know if you guys are Star Wars people, any other 70s or 80s or 90s kids in the building. Anyway, Yoda was absolutely my first mentor. He got me thinking about Eastern philosophy concepts and spiritual things like that. And then Dr. Dyer was just kind of the manifestation of Yoda for me when I got later on. So, honest truth. For those of you who know me, I am a huge Yoda fan till today. I actually have 368 or 69 original collectible pieces of Yoda. That's how much I like Yoda still. Like I said, I enjoy his philosophies. Obviously, a lot of those things that he did was based on the writings of Buddha and Krishna and Jesus and all that. So, just a little background for me. All right. So anyway, so then we get to Dr. Dyer. Dr. Dyer tells me it's a lot easier if you step back into 5D perspective. And you can see this, and the way to do that is literally picture yourself as the parent talking to the child, okay? So in this case, you're your child. The higher perspective, the 5D perspective, is your higher self, okay? So you're going to look down and you're going to identify by name those limiting beliefs, okay? So, hello, people are waving to me. It's a little rosy sunshine. So hopefully this is making some sense, okay? All right. So if it's making some sense, give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up. All right. So we've identified the negative beliefs. And like I said, you can go by the 4 pillars. This morning what I do a lot of times is I start with the little mantra, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise, and I work backwards from that. Okay? So, is there a problem in my health? Is there a problem in my wealth, prosperity, my job, any of those things? Wise. Okay, so is there a problem with knowledge, learning, wisdom, expressing that, communications, those type of things? So once we have the awareness to look at those things, we can then go in and use some tools like all the ones we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks to address those, okay? So, all right, so let's go into addressing them once you have it. But you don't know what the limiting beliefs are, can't identify. You can, all right, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. So to identify a limiting belief, literally you have to step out of yourself sometimes. Like sometimes they're hard, sometimes they're embedded. You have to step out of yourself, look like a parent looking at your child, and see yourself. And we're going to talk about some creative visualization in a minute that may help with that more. So hold that for just a second. If you can't seem to do that yet, we'll talk more about creative visualization, okay? Obviously, there's plenty of tools. Like I said, you have to get the awareness. We're going to get to the here and now. And realize this, guys, too. I had a huge, long discussion with one of the other Mind Valley coaches named Regan Hillier, and we were talking about the here and now. And I don't know if you guys know Abraham Hicks, but obviously we're trying to get to the here and now. That's so we're not living too much in the past or too much in the future, right? But realize this, the here and now is a moment. That's the here and now. That's the here and now. That's the here and now. Okay? So here's the thing. If you're identifying your present situation here and now as this day sucks, you're identifying an entire day, which is the past, because this is the present moment. So does this second right here suck? And if so, why? And address it. Okay? Here and now. Okay? So if you're like 2019, you know what I mean? That's not the here and now. That's 3 weeks, that's the past. Okay? This is the here and now. And now it's gone. Now we have a different here and now. Okay? So just realize that you're constantly evolving, you're constantly creating nonstop, and that's a great thing. Okay? That means you can constantly remake yourself better. All right? The bad thing is you can also remake yourself exactly the same as you were if you don't take any inspired action towards that, okay? So, identify your negative beliefs. We'll go into some creative visualization for those of you still having a couple problems with that. I'm not saying it's the easiest, okay? You do have to be able to separate yourself from it, okay? And that takes this process, okay? Let's just give you a process. First of all, relaxed state of mind. Okay? Relaxed state of mind. So while you're worried about all those future events, that anxiety or stress, past and present, while you're there, you cannot fix it, okay? Right? You guys all know the quote, I'm sure. Cannot fix the problem from the same mind state it was created in. Right? You have to raise your perspective, okay? Easier said than done sometimes, but how do we do that? We've been giving you all kinds of tools for that, okay? So, let's start with meditation. Let's start with breathing techniques and meditation. Calm your mind enough to do some other things, okay? Let's do that. Let's get to that here and now, okay? So, let's start that. Remember the alpha brain state is the most receptive for the subconscious mind. Okay? So alpha is the brain state that we can get to through meditation. It also comes naturally to us as we're drifting in or out of sleep. Okay? So that's where we can get the repetition, and that can actually help us in our minds. It kind of bypasses the prefrontal cortex, and we're able to influence those paradigms, those long-term beliefs that we've been holding forever that are running like a program in the back of our minds. Okay? So we're going to start there. And remember, like I said, reality is just a belief that we keep believing. So once we identify this non-serving belief, we can change our physical reality at any time. Okay? Anytime. So right now. And that's why we say, stay positive, okay? So we're not saying don't address the negative thing. We're saying address it and get it rid of now, in the moment. You don't dwell on it because you recreate it when you dwell on it. Okay? That's what tapping is great for. Okay? Colette has been hammering tapping home, and I think a lot of you have been trying it. I have been trying it along with you. Great. It's definitely a great tool to add into everything else. If it works for you, which it seems to be working for a lot of folks, please stay with it. You know what I mean? When we're done with this Consciousness Creator Summit project, please keep that. That's an everyday process you can do. Meditation is an everyday process you should keep. Okay? We're making long-term life changes. All right? So, once we do that, we are, and I just keep looking down here because I don't want to skip any of the steps for those folks who are trying to play along at home. All right, in the home version. So, all right. So here's what I do. I'm just going off script for just a second. So once again, you can address this with tapping. So realize everything that I'm going to be saying here, Colette would tell you, tap it out and tap it in, right? So as we address the negative, we're going to tap it out, okay? And then when we instill some positive things, we're going to tap it in, right? Colette has also obviously been helping a lot of us with that as well. And she has an awesome channel that you can tune into on other days that you're not here with Consciousness Creators and get some extra tapping stuff going on. So I would encourage you to get a hold of her for the schedule of those type of things. So, but here's what we're going to do. We are going to identify that negative belief. We're going to name it, right? So we're going to say the negative belief that I am not enough is no longer serving me. It's not true. That was an old belief. Not true for my here and now. I do deserve it now. I used to think I didn't deserve it. I know I deserve it now. Okay? So we are going to identify it, and then here's what we're going to do. We are going to thank that belief, because you know what that negative belief did? It served us at some point. Okay? Every belief we have is serving our ego at some point for something. Okay? So when we can thank it for its service until it's no longer needed, much easier to release. Okay? Right? So it's just like a job. Okay? Think about this. Think about it like this. Okay? You go to work at a job. They hire you in at $15 an hour, or whatever your currency is where you're at. Okay? You hire in at a certain rate. You are super thankful for that job. It's what you wanted at the time. You loved it. You know what I mean? The money was great for it to start out with, but at a certain point, you're going to evolve past that, right? Both in money, you may feel you deserve more money, and maybe in like the job ceiling. Like you may want more responsibility. You may want other things to do, okay? And that may mean getting a promotion. You may need to promote yourself in your life, or you may need to scrap that job and go get something else, okay? It depends how much more you deserve at this point in your here and now, okay? Same thing with a limiting belief. We're going to thank it. We appreciate it for what it did for us. That job got us our car payment. It did all that stuff. Now I'm trying to buy a house, right? Okay, I'm on to bigger and better things in my life. I'm creating more. Same thing with limiting belief. We're going to thank it for its service, and we're going to move on, okay? And So I wrote down just a little mantra here, and you can make your own. I just wrote this one off the cuff. So I put, I gratefully release my old belief of I am not enough, as I have grown out of it as I move towards the highest version of myself. Okay? Make a mantra. All right? We talked about those things. You know what those things do? Repetition. A mantra is something that you can repeat over and over and over. Once again, alpha state. You can get that into your subconscious. You can tap it in. Okay? So you're releasing. All right? I just did a huge release thing. I use the full moon for release. I think I've shared that with you guys before. I use new moon to set 30-day intentions, and I use full moon to release thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve me. So me personally, I do it every single month. I'm always clearing stuff out. Thoughts, people, things, ideas, in and out, okay? Life is about change. I love that, Colette. Tap it in, change your brain. There you go, okay? So we can use tapping for some of that. We can also use creative visualization, and I'm going to get to that a little bit also. And you can use those two in conjunction, all right? All right, so once again, so the process there, you're going to identify it, you're going to name it, we're going to thank it for its service, we're going to create a mantra, and we're going to repeat that to ourselves, possibly tapping it in, right? Changing our brain, releasing that whole thing. We're going to release the old, and then we're going to put something new in its place. And I talked last week about the importance of adding something positive where you create space so that something negative doesn't creep in, right? You remember that? And how it's more important to have that positive thing ready to go than to create the space, because if you don't have something, you will eventually fill that back up with some negative doubts and thoughts, okay? Our minds, our ego mind is created to protect us from things. So that's what those come into service for a purpose, all right? So once we've done that and we've done our mantra, we've tapped it in, well, we've tapped it out and then we tapped it in again. Any questions before I move on? I want to move on to a process called creative visualization. That we kind of talked about a little bit. We talk about visualizing in the process of other things. You've had some visualization as we're doing meditations specifically. Like all of our meditations usually have a form of visualization in them. And we'll talk about that. So any other questions or anything? Everybody still with me? Give me some hearts or some thumbs. Still with me, everybody? Cool. Luke Bryant Smith's in the house. What's up, Luke? Just talking about eliminating some negative beliefs that may be still sticking around in week 3 of 2019, getting rid of all of that. Shout out to all my consciousness creator friends. Appreciate all you guys. All right, so we're going to move on to replacing that negative belief. Okay, and if you're still having some troubles, sometimes you can do this process and, like I said, crowd out a negative belief as well. Okay, much easier and better for the long term to identify it and completely release it. Okay, we identify it, we tap it out. But here's another process. Let's talk about this process. Abraham Hicks also talks about this process. This is one we teach at Mind Valley pretty extensively as part of the 6-phase meditation that Vishen does as well. So it's called creative visualization. So it's a little bit more than just what you may think about visualization. Okay? So let me get his exact steps here. So here is the definition from Vishen Lakhiani, CEO of Mind Valley, about his process of creative visualization. He calls it the act of seeing in your mind's eye that which you wish to attract into your life. Okay? The act of seeing in your mind's eye that which you wish to attract into your life. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about the difference between 3D, 4D, 5D perspective, okay? We're building on that as we go, okay? Remember, we are trying to take the 5D perspective to fix a 3D problem, all right? 3D is an earthly thing that we deal with every single day, realizing we are bigger than that. This is just a projection of us, okay? We can certainly fix that. And I'm going to show you a great way to do it right here. There are several different versions of this, and there's different ways for you to think about it. But the key to creative visualization is realizing that in the movie of your life, not only are you the actor, 3D, but you're also the writer and the director, 4D, 5D, right? So you get to direct it, but you get to write it from the beginning. And then the director interprets it. And then finally the actor puts it into play. Okay? With the direction. You're all of those things. So don't give up your power. Okay? A lot of people are living just as the actor, and they're waiting for direction from something and somewhere, and they're walking around languishing because they don't realize they're their own director. They're their own writer. They write the manuscripts. Okay? So if this applies to you, give me some hearts and some thumbs up. If you know someone it applies to, hearts and thumbs. I see this a lot in my coaching practice. And like I said, I'm a transformational mindset coach. And literally this is what I pretty much work with people on 7 days a week. And it goes from everyone from millionaire CEOs to, housewives and to kids, and pets probably have this issue. I don't know. No, probably not. I don't know. I don't deal with pets. I'm not the horse whisperer, but but I do work with kids a lot, and adults. And like I said, the CEO of the biggest corporations have the exact same problems you do. So don't think that it's a you problem. It's more of a human thing, but it's something we can overcome. All right? So, creative visualization. So I kind of broke it down as director, all that. So we want the 5D perspective, right? We want to go all the way back to the writer. So if there is something, a negative thing running, a negative script running in our subconscious mind, we're going to rewrite that. Okay? Because you can direct the wrong things all you want, and it's still going to be there. The same words are there, the same context is there. So we want to go all the way back to 5D. All right. So, once again, the act of seeing in your mind's eye that which you wish to attract into your life. Okay? So the mind's eye, we talked about that. We had the little activity there where I held up the word. You said it in your mind. You could hear it. You could hear your own voice say it. You could see it, but you weren't using your eyes, your ears, your mouth, okay? We are that higher perspective. We just have to realize it and take that power back, okay? All right, so here's Vishen's version, okay? And any of you who have done the 6-phase meditation by Mind Valley, led by Vishen himself, this will sound familiar. This is how he does it, and it works beautifully. This is one of my favorites. And he does this in conjunction with 5 other pieces, which starts with meditation, quieting the mind. And this is the piece as he's moving forwards into the day, into the week, into the year. Okay. So once again, we're using this in this form to replace those negative beliefs and thoughts and things that are going on that no longer serve us. We thanked it. We got rid of it. Now we're going to replace it. Okay. So that nothing else creeps in there. All right. So here's a great process for it. So I'm gonna read Vishen's process. It's great. He uses a TV, and you may have seen Regan Hillier uses this same thing when she does her creative visualization meditations. And I've heard some other people use it as well. Great concept. So, and here's why. Okay. So here's what you do. You are going to picture yourself as the actor on a huge screen TV. Okay, the biggest you've ever seen. 60 inch if you've got that. 60 inch plasma, high def. Something that you know and see though, okay? But you're going to picture yourself, including your physical body, so you're not going to see it through these eyes. You are going to be the 5D and you're going to see yourself acting it out there. But here's the key. Here's the key. We are going to start all the way back at that negative act, belief, thought, that negative thing we identified. We're going to start there, okay? So as much information as you know about it, you want to recreate on that screen right now, okay? And we'll do this, we do this with our eyes closed. Like I said, it's going to be right after meditation. We get in that mind state, that alpha state if we can get there. We're going to picture this big screen TV. We're going to picture us on there, and we're going to picture us in the struggle that we're trying to change for 1 to 2 minutes. Because what are we going to do? We're going to address it, and we're going to get rid of it, okay? But while it's on that TV, you need to put all the struggle into it. So every reason why you want to change it needs to come up. So if it's a health thing, and your back hurts, you need to feel the pain, okay? You need to see yourself and see the people looking at you and how bad that makes you feel, okay? You need to hear them talking about you. You need to see the whispers, all right? You need to feel how bad it feels to not be able to pick up your daughter or your granddaughter, okay? You need to feel all of that for 2 minutes, okay? 1 to 2 minutes of that. And then what we're going to do literally is use our mantra from last time. Thank you for that. That no longer serves me. And you're going to use your remote to change the channel. Boom. And that channel never comes back. Okay? You're going to change the channel. And you're going to change it to 5D. So it doesn't go black. What happens is you still see yourself, but everything around you changes. Okay? Remember, your eyes are closed. You're going to do this for yourself. You're painting a picture. Everything around you changes. Now you're in your perfect higher self body. Okay? Exactly how you want to feel. So if we're doing the backache, you're upright. You're playing football in the backyard with the kids, right? You're climbing up and down stairs, no problem. You know, you're exercising, you're healthy, you're wealthy, you're wise, okay? Once again, you want to, in the picture, you want to feel like you can feel all 5 senses, all right? You want to recreate that for yourself. Science shows when you put that in your mind, the subconscious mind does not know the difference. Once again, I know we talk about this every single day, it seems like, but your subconscious mind will not know the difference between here and now reality and anything else that you're visualizing or putting in there, okay? Words, thoughts, feelings, emotions create, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're going to create this, okay? We're filling that space with this, okay? That's a creative visualization. That's just for a little healing thing. Say it's a bigger thing. Say it's prosperity. Same thing. When you first turn on the TV, you're going to see yourself. You're going to see your financial challenges. Okay? You're going to see your overdrawn drafts. You're going to see bounce checks. You're going to see having to say no to your kids when they ask for something. You're going to feel that hurt. Okay? But only for 2 minutes. And then you're going to release it with our mantra. That no longer serves me. That's not me. That was before. Change the channel. Now you're going to picture prosperity, okay? You're going to see yourself driving that car that you wanted to get, not the one that you had to get. You're going to see yourself being able to say yes, being able to pay for college for your kids, being able to do everything that you wanted to do. You're not renting that 2-bedroom apartment. You're in the house that you wanted, okay? You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it. If you can taste it, taste the luxury shrimp and steak or whatever that means to you. Okay? What's the meal you would get if money was not an object? What's the house you would get if money was not an object? Okay? And that's if we're doing prosperity. okay? But you can do that with any part of your life. So identify the negative belief, and now we're replacing it with something better, okay? Your subconscious mind does not know the difference, and it will start attracting cooperative components into your life to build that future, okay? You just have to allow it. All right, so, and the last step here, like I said, all senses, vivid colors, all that. But the very last step is brought to us by Jose Silva. Okay, Jose Silva is a great meditation guru. He started the Silva method. Jason has talked about him. So I think Sheb even talked about him. Anyway, Jose Silva added this piece to it, and Vishen definitely adopted it. And it's a great piece, and you'll see why here. His final part to this is see yourself helping at least 2 other people with your new belief. How are you going to serve others with that belief? Okay? Realize that's one of our core heart needs is serving others. Okay? How are we going to reach that out? How is this new belief going to serve? If the old one didn't serve us, how is this one going to serve us and everyone around us? How are we raising the vibration? How are we helping our kids? Now we have more money. We can donate more to our church, if that's your thing, to a nonprofit. We can start our own nonprofit. We can help kids in Africa. What can we do? How did you do it? So you're going to picture that along with everything else that's great in your own life. You're going to picture that abundance being so much that you can now serve and help change the world. All right? So, and then of course we're going to end with gratitude. We're going to seal it up with we are thankful for our new belief. But we're gonna say it's present. You know, once again, remember everything is in the here and now. So I am thankful for the prosperity that has come. I am so grateful to be able to help the world around me, to help my kids. I'm grateful to be able to live my life pain-free if it was some kind of a pain thing, those types of things. So hopefully that makes sense. So that is Vishen's process for creative visualization. I use this at least on a monthly basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. It just depends when I identify things. Like I said, my personal practice, I use the lunar cycle to create and to eliminate. But I will say if I find something in the middle, or say somebody brings some perspective to me, I want to do that right away. I'm not saving that for the full moon to get rid of. Okay. I may go ahead and mention that at the full moon and do a proper clearing. And maybe we'll have some time to talk about that. I have a whole ceremony at the full moon for deleting those kind of things, where I write down each of those things that I identified, and I actually burn them up and I release them into the wind, knowing that everything is energy. So I release that energy to go back into the universe and create something better. And then this is one of the processes I use to replace that limiting belief. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helped a little bit. I had several questions. Like I said, I had 3 or 4 questions about limiting beliefs and processes that we can use. Once again, highly advocating for meditation, highly advocating for tapping along with all this stuff. Add creative visualization. If you are in too much of a panic to get to meditation, deep breathing. Remember, we talked about that. We talked about panic attacks, crisis breathing, deep breath, getting to the here and now. Okay? So we just want some awareness. We want to be completely honest with ourselves when we do these processes. And you can, and you will, be able to replace those things and live a better life. So hopefully that makes sense. Co-creators, give me some hearts and some thumbs up if that makes sense. All right, awesome. I have one more week. There's a couple bonus days here, so I'm gonna get a fifth live coming up next Tuesday. So I hope you're able to join with me there. Obviously, the fabulous Colette Leosi, Tapping Girl, will be with us tomorrow. So hopefully we can work some of these processes in, identify those beliefs. Okay. Let's, if we need to use the tapping tomorrow to do that, I'm sure Colette would be more than happy to help us get rid of those and replace some of those with something more positive. Okay, remember we're in week 3 of 2019 already. You should be seeing major shifts in your life, and you should be able to identify new limiting beliefs based on the cabbage that you, or the onion that you peeled away from the first 2 weeks, okay? There's more stuff underneath there. So let's just keep working on it. It's a process. Don't get down on yourself. Remember just to come to the here and now. We get rid of the old ones. We get into the new ones. It's a process. We're always getting better. We're reaching for the next better feeling, right? All right. Great. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Once again, my name is Tony Doyle. This is the Consciousness Creators Summit. Until I see you again, peace.